So good morning to all. Audible, right?
Good morning. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in the last class we discussed about application specific embedded system. So which we discussed is about washing machine. So after today I'm going to post a quiz after this particular class. So you go through the quiz. So I'm going to give you the case study of an assignment. So you have to go through how the micro oven is going to work. So that will be one of your assignment. So you should go through that particular application domain of microwave oven. So when it comes to the application automotive domain, you just take the case study of the router. So how the router is built and what were the structure of the router and how the packets are transferred inside the router. So that will come and that particular router is embedded system that will be coming under telecom domain. Okay. So now when it comes to the automatic domain, automotive is the domain specific embedded system. So which states that you are going to make use that particular domain that will be used in automotive domain. Okay. So now when you are going to have this particular automotive domain, so the domains which you are going to have, the domains of the embedded system which you take. So here it will be used mainly in consumer field. So it is going to be used in consumer field, industrial field, and automotive field, and telecom field. So these are the four fields which you are going to consider when you are considering with respect to the domain specific embedded system. So now if we take this particular example, for your example, we are taking that one as automotive. Okay, so for your example, we are taking that one as automotive is an example. So in this particular type of embedded system, so if you take the car, so car will be having many of the embedded systems. The embedded systems which you are going to have is you are going to have the instrumentation control will be there, and you are going to have the engine control will be there, fan control will be there, for fuel injection control is there, headlamp control should be there, ABS control is there, anti-braking system, and the wiper control should be there, suspension control should be there. So the next you are going to have power windows should be there. Next, centralized locking should be there. So this is stands for centralized locking. Okay, so that is not visible. So centralized locking mechanism should be there. So power window should be there, and the controlling of mirror. So when you are pressing it, has automatically the mirror has the window has mirror control. There is when it has to close or open, and then seat control should be there, and airbag control, power steering control, and air conditioner. So these are some of the embedded systems which will be there. Okay, so these are the embedded system which will be there. So combinedly which will be there inside your car. Okay, so when you talk about the embedded systems, so these are the some of the examples inside your car. So now inner working, how you take, if you take start talking about the inner working, internal working of your automotive embedded system. So now here in the automotive embedded system, basically if you take the car is a mechanical. Okay, so it is a mechanical. So a mechanical system, car is a mechanical system. But when you have the mechanical system, how come we are going to discuss with respect to the embedded system is the next question. How come you are going to take control by the electronic system? So it is going to take where the taken control by electronics. Okay, so here it is going to taken control by electronics systems which you are going to have. So next, so what it is going to do, how it is going to taken over by the electronics. So it is how it is going to take. So it is going to be presence of automotive embedded system which will be there. So it is going to have the automotive embedded system in the vehicle. So it may be varies from simple mirror to wiper controls. So which we have seen last. Okay, in the last slide we have seen that what are the different parts which will be having the embedded system, and this embedded system will be varies from simple mirror to wiper control also. So each and every controlling mechanism which you are going to have, either it may be a ABS, it may be there, or it may be a seat warning, it may be there. So or it may be airbag controller may be there, or anti-lock braking system is there. Each individual will be having its own embedded system. Okay, so each individual, this will be having, each individual control will be having embedded system. Okay, so now when you talk about the embedded system, so when you talk about the embedded automotive embedded system, so if you take up the automotive embedded system, it's normally built under microcontroller. So it is normally built under microcontroller. So how it has to be designed, what are the functionalities that particular microcontroller has to perform, or it may be designed using the DSPs. Okay, so DSP stands for digital signal processing. Okay, digital signal processing you are going to have. So digital signal processing unit which you will be having. So that will be taken care. And so hybrid of the two. So or some of the embedded system where you are going to use the microcontroller receiver, both it contains the microcontroller plus DSP hybrid. So it's going to have the microcontroller also, it's going to have the DSP also. So a typical example is your ARM only. So ARM is a dual processor which will be having. So if you see inside your processor, which is ARM Cortex, which you are going to have, there's a higher version of the ARM processor. So these will be having two different processor. One processor is one controller is going to control your digital signal processing. Other controllers will be controlling the other parts of the system. So now, if you take the embedded vehicle, automotive vehicle, so how many embedded systems will be there? Is the next question. So if you take the number of embedded controllers, you can see that. So in the ordinary vehicle, if you take, so the number of embedded controllers which will be there is varies from 30 to 40. Okay, so it is in the normal car. Okay, so it is in the normal car, it will be 30 to 40, 20 to 40 embedded system will be there inside. That is your embedded controllers. Or the embedded controller is nothing but what? So you're going to have embedded system. So if you take the normal car, so it will be having around 20 to 40. Okay, normal car will be having 20 to 40. So if you take the luxury car, so if you take the luxury car, it may be having more than 100 embedded controllers will be there. So without our knowledge, we are using in day-to-day life your embedded system. Okay, without your knowledge, we are going to make use your embedded system. So most of you have which you are going to have the vehicle, right? So saying when you go with petrol bunk side, they will tell that they will give one product telling that this will increase the mileage for you. That is also one of the embedded system. So what it will do, that is a fuel injection. So that is, it is going to reduce the injection of the fuel. Okay, so that is one part of the embedded system which you are going to have. So the first embedded system used in automatic application is by Volkswagen. Okay, so the first embedded system, the first world embedded system which you are going to have, so which will be used, which is used in automotive applications, was the microprocessor based fuel injection system. So if you take here, so this is used this microprocessor based embedded system. So that is basically built, introduced by Volkswagen. So that is a Volkswagen 1600. Okay, so that is the car where your first automotive embedded system was introduced. So that was in the year 1968. Okay, so that is before my birth only, that embedded system which is be introduced for your automotive domain. Okay, so in the automotive domain, the first microcontroller is introduced in 1968. So which company was introduced that one? So the company which was introduced your automotive embedded domain is Volkswagen 1600. So the automotive domain which will be used is automotive Volkswagen 1600. Okay. So next, when it comes to what are the different types of control units which will be used in your embedded circuitry? Okay, so it will be having high speed electronic control circuit will be there, and it will be having a low speed electronic circuitry will be there. So next comes the discussion. So when you talk about the electronic control units, because when you talk about the electronic control units, so some may not have the time deadline. Some will be having the deadline. Like your airbag, it is having the deadline. So because within the fraction of the time the car has been impacted in the opposite direction, the airbag has to open. So that has to get taken care within the fraction of a second after the accident. So if that particular bag is not opening, so uh, something will happen to the driver, right? So that will happen. So that is going to be used. So it is mainly classified into high speed electronic control units. Okay, so that is high speed electronic control units. So other one is low speed electronic control units. So when I talk about the high speed electronic control units, as I told that, so that is depends upon the deadline. So that's why it is called as what? Critical control units. Okay. So your high speed electronic control units are nothing but what? Critical electronic control units. And it should have a faster response to the time. So you should have the fast response to the time. So you should have a fast response to the time. Okay. So fast response should be there. So which are the other embedded system which includes high speed electronic circuits are? One is your fuel injection system should be there. That means if your vehicle has to run means it requires fuel. So now the fuel has to be injected properly to the engine, right, to make your vehicle to run. So you should, that particular fuel injection system should have the electronic circuitry control unit, because if you are not, if that particular fuel injection is not done properly, obviously what will happen, the car will stop running. So next is anti-braking, anti-lock braking system. So as soon as it encounter with opposite vehicle, so the car has to automatically brake by itself. So maybe you have seen in your many of the advertisement, like Benz is coming that like that. So if you are going with the advertisement, you can see with the Benz, which is coming with the latest one. So where uh, they will stand, the four people will stand in front of the vehicle. So and the automated vehicle will come as soon as, even if the driver is not able to apply the brake, the vehicle itself will apply the brake by itself. Okay, so and it will stop by itself. So without the intervention of the human being. So that is where your anti-lock braking system, it will become coming in the future, which will be helpful for your autonomous systems. Okay, so autonomous system, autonomous automotive systems, which you are going to have in the future. So now it is semi-autonomous, which is there. So in the future, it may come autonomous. So it is totally, the driver won't be there in that particular vehicle. Okay, so next you are going to have the engine control should be there. So engine control is one of the part in your car which requires the high-speed electronic circuitry. So next electronic throttle will be there, steering controls, transmission control unit, and center control unit. So and then there are some of the uh, parts of your vehicle which requires the low-speed electronic control, low-speed electronic control units. Which are the particular applications? So these are applications where it requires low response. Okay, it is not time critical. So it is not time critical. Which one? Your low cost electronics control circuits, it is not a time critical. So basically they are built around low cost microprocessors. Okay, so basically they are going to build around low cost microprocessor, and it is going to be used in where? So it is going to be built for your audio control. So you are going to have the audio control, right? So you are going to have the audio controller will be there, audio controls will be there. And if you are going to have the passenger and driver door locks, okay, so automatically door has to lock by itself. So you have seen in some vehicles, okay, so whenever the vehicle starts moving, so after the vehicle starts moving, so after 5 seconds or 10 seconds, so the car will lock by itself, if even if you are not locking the car. So who is going to take care of that one? So your embedded system which is there. So that particular type of embedded system is going to be referred as low speed electronic control system. And other one is your door clasp controllers. So when you are going to move up and down your glass of the door, so you are going to have the power windows, right? So power windows which are there, so that has to be opened. So now in your wiper control, so whenever you are switched on, the wiper has to turn on. So at what, how much the wiper has to turn on, how much it when it has to come back, when it has to come move front. So that has to be taken control, right? So that particular control will be taken by your low speed electronic control circuit. And your mirror control is there, and seat control system is there. Like when you are not putting the belt into the seat belt, so alarm signal has to come, right? So that is one thing. So next is headlamp control should be there, that how much light is visible. So whether the dim light you should have, or whether have high beam you should have, high beam light you should have, or whether you should have the low beam light you are going to have. And you should have the tail lamp controls also. So you're going to have the tail lamp controller should also be there. So tail lamp control should be there, which you're going to have. Okay, so tail lamp controller should be there. So then sunroof control unit should be there. Sunroof control unit is nothing but what? So now all the vehicle, most of the vehicle which you are going to have is sunroof control, right? So it will open when you require that one. So that particular top glass which will be there, that will be opened. So how, when it will be opened? So when you press some button, right? So it has to take action on that one. So whenever you require that particular button to be opened, so that particular button will get opened and it will be used. So those are the examples where your low speed electronic control circuits here, control units are required. Okay, so next is our automotive communication buses. What are the different buses you are going to make use of in your automotive embedded system? So it is going to make use of the serial bus, your automotive communication bus which you are going to have. So that is going to make use of the serial bus for communication. So if you are going with a serial parallel bus, it will be fast. So why we are not using the parallel bus is, so if you use the parallel bus, what is the disadvantage? Anybody having any doubt? Any answers from your deck? What's the disadvantage in your automotive applications? Why we are not using the parallel bus? Anybody having any doubt from the previous one? So if you go with the parallel bus, it requires more wiring. So that's what, so if it is more wiring, so the circuit become complex. So more wiring what becomes, so it makes circuit to get complex. So if you make the circuit complex, then obviously, then if any fault is occurring, then it will become difficult for us to detect that particular fault. So for that particular reason, what will happen? So it will say they are going to make use of the serial bus communication. So when you are going to make use of the serial bus communication, so it is going to have less wiring. So as you told that amount of require, it reduces the amount of firing. So reduces the amount of firing is nothing but what? So it requires less firing. Okay, so it requires the less wiring inside the vehicle. So now when you are going to discuss with respect to the bus, so there are different types of serial bus, interface bus deployed in automotive embedded system, which are there. First one is CAN, second is local internet network, third one is media oriented system transport bus. So these are the three different serial bus interface which are going to be used. One is CAN, so one is CAN, other is local internet network, third one is media oriented system transport bus. Okay, that is called as MOST. So simplified is CAN, LIN, and MOST, which is going to be called as. So next, when it comes to the CAN, where it will be used. So if you take the control area network, so controller area network, it is most of the field it is going to be used. Okay, so in most of the automotive embedded applications, it is going to be used. So now it is basically built by Bosch. Okay, so it's going to be more basically proposed by Bosch. So that is the controller area network bus is developed by Bosch. So it is one of the Robert Bosch will become the one of the solution provider for your automotive embedded solution provider. So Robert Bosch is, so it is nothing but automotive embedded solution provider. So that's what. So if you want to enter into the Robert Bosch company, you should be strong in your microcontroller. So that you keep in your mind. So you cannot go with the service-based applications which you are going to study. So if you want to work with the Robert Bosch means you should be strong in your microcontroller. Okay. So now when you are going to have, this is one of why, because your Bosch is going to produce the embedded system solution, embedded solution provider for your automotive applications. Okay, so automotive embedded system. So now it is going to support the medium speed as well as the high speed. Both the speed it is going to support. So CAN supports both medium speed as well as high speed. Okay, so when it comes to the medium speed, it will so it can accommodate the data rate up to 125 kbps. So can accommodate provide up to, it can provide up to 125 kbps. That is in the medium speed. When it comes to the high speed, it is 1 mbps which you are going to have. So if you go with the high speed, it's going to have 1 mbps. So now this particular CAN protocol which you are going to have, this is also called as protocol. So if you refer to the higher end of the version, if the another embedded system book, if you take and if you see, so that is they are going to, in some books they are going to call it as CAN protocol. Okay, so in here it is going to call it serial interface bus. Okay, so now as the name indicates, your CAN is a event driven protocol. So what do you mean by event driven protocol? So whenever some event is happen, so whenever some event occurs, this particular protocol, this particular controller is going to work. So it is going to be basically works supports for error handling in data transmission. So it also works for error handling in data transmission. So now where it will be used, this particular controller. So when it comes to the this particular controller, it is basically used in airbag. So airbag controller you should use. Okay, so event driven, as the name indicates, event driven. So some event occurs. So airbag controller used whenever you are going to have the accident. Okay, so and we are going to have the powertrain systems which you are going to have. So next engine control we are going to have, and we are going to have the anti-lock braking system. Okay, so anti-lock braking system also when you are going to encountering with the accident. and you are going to make use in your navigation system. So navigation system is what is going to use, you are going to make use of the global positioning system. So that means where your vehicle is moving, that has to be detected, right? So to detect your vehicle movement, so I have to have my embedded navigation system to be installed inside my vehicle. So your who is going to control all these things? These things will be controlled by your control area network protocol. So who is been proposed this one? It is proposed by Robert Bosch. Okay. So now, can anyone tell you that? So if you learn your embedded system properly, which are the field, even in your car manufacturing company also you can work. Okay, so even in your car manufacturing companies also you can work. Okay, that you keep in your mind. So next is the bus which you are going to have is local internet connect network. So you are going to have local connect network which you are going to have. So this particular bus is single master, multiple slave. So where we have come across another term which is having the single master multiple slave. Can anyone tell where you have been came across single master multiple slave word? Can anyone remember? So all of you forgotten your I square C already, I think. So it is in inter-integrated circuit you are going to have. So in inter-integrated circuit, what is having? Your microprocessor is going to be connected with multiple slaves. Okay. So similarly, in your local internet connected bus, so this particular bus is a single master, multiple slave. So how many slaves it can accommodate at a single time? It can accommodate up to 16 independent nodes. Okay. So it can accommodate up to 16 independent slave nodes communication interface. So it can accommodate up to 16 communication interface it's going to have. So now, if we take the LIN is what? LIN is low speed. It's a low speed single wire communication interface. So it is a low speed single wire communication interface. And since it is a communication interface, so it will support the data rate up to 20 kbps. That's it. So it's a communication interface. So the communication interface that supports the data rate of up to 20 kbps. So the 20 kilobits per second. So basically this particular LIN is used in your sensor or actuator interfacing. So this is used in your sensor or actuator interfacing. So it is going to follow the master communication triggering mechanism technique. So what do you mean by master communication triggering mechanism? So that means it is going to eliminate the bus automation. So now, so that what it means is, so you are going to have the master, right? So I am going to have the master. So I am going to have the multiple slaves. Okay, multiple slave nodes are there here. So when you are going to have the multiple slave nodes, so your masters can talk to all simultaneously. So that means it can instruct to all the other slave nodes, depending upon the type of the event which has been happening. And what it is going to have, it is going to possibly eliminate the bus interpretation problem. So that is normally happening with respect to the different slave nodes connected to the single person interface. Okay. So this particular LIN bus is basically employed in application with respect to the mirror controllers. So it is going to be employed in your mirror controllers is there, and you are going to have the seat fan controller, seat positioning controls is there. It is going to be used window control, that is power windows which you are going to have. Window control is nothing but your power windows which you are going to have, and positional controls which you are going to have, where response time is not that much critical. So this particular bus is used where your response time is not that much critical, where the response time is not critical. Okay, so not critical, where the response time is not critical. We are going to make use of this particular thing. So next, when it comes to the third bus is MOST bus, that is nothing but media oriented system transport bus. So here, as the name indicates, media. So as the name indicates, it's media. So media is either it may be an audio or video. So it is going to interface with either audio or video. So whenever the media is coming into the picture, media is nothing but audio or video. So it is most targeted for what? So the most is nothing but media oriented system transport bus is mainly targeted for your automotive video or audio equipment interfacing. So where it is mainly used in European cars. So it is not used much of the car in your Indian cars, so but it will be used in most of the European cars. Okay, so most of the, hello. So in most of the European cars, it's going to have. Okay, so
So you're not audible.
so now in your most bus, what will happen here? So the most bus here, so it depends the layer in which the layer is going to happen. So it is going to happen in um, four layers. That is your physical layer, MAC layer. So the MAC layer, the MAC layer will come in bit layer. Anybody have the answer for that one? And your network layer and your application layer. Okay, so this particular most specifications which you are going to have, that will be implemented using in this particular layer. Okay, so when you are going to have the most bus, so the most bus is an optical fiber connected. So the most bus is optical connected between, so it is going to connect it between what and what. So it is going to connect it between electrical to optical converter. So electrical to optical converter and optical to electrical converter. Okay, so that means whatever the electrical signals are there, it will be converted to light. Optic means light, right? So it is going to convert to electric to light. So the data will be transmitted in terms of light. So whatever the data you want to transmit. So obviously when it is converting at the receiving end, it has to convert from optics to electric. So again it has to convert from optic to electric. Okay, so that is how your most bus is going to be used. So now next, anybody having any doubt with respect to the communication bus, with respect to CAN, LIN, and most? Anybody having any doubt?
Explain once again, sir.
Yeah. Any doubt? Anybody having any doubt? So now let us see that who are the key players of the automotive embedded system. So you are going to have the embedded market, right? So who are the key players? So why this will tell you that which are the companies which are building the automotive embedded market. Okay. So which are the companies we are going to have? So it is going to be divided into three verticals. What are the three verticals? So one is your silicon providers, one is tool and platform providers, other is your solution providers. Okay, so one is you are going to have the silicon providers. So second is your tools and platform providers, and third is your solution providers. So now when it comes to the silicon providers, who are the silicon providers? They are responsible for providing the necessary chips. Okay, so silicon providers, as the name indicates, silicon. So silicon, for what purpose it is being used? It is used to build chip. It is used to build chip. Okay, so what they will be providing? They are providing the chip. Okay, they are going to provide the chip which is be used in controller application development. So this will be used in your control application development. Okay, so control application development will be there. So in those type of uh, uh, development environment, so this particular silicon provider is going to be used. So now whatever the chip they are going to provide, so that silicon providers, they are going to provide like microcontrollers, they are going to provide DSPs, that is digital signal processing, they are going to provide. So DSP stands for digital signal processing. Okay, digital signal processing you are going to have. So it is so ADC you are going to have analog to digital converter. You are going to have the analog to digital converter, or DAC you are going to have, where the DAC stands for digital to analog converter. Okay, so these are the chip manufacturers. So that is some microcontroller chip, maybe it may be designing, or it may be they may be using the DSP, that is digital signal processing, or they may be using the analog to digital converter, or they may be using the digital to analog converter. Okay, so now some applications, as we have discussed in your third module itself. So some module is uh, some of the applications will be fitted inside your chip itself. Then the type of applications which is that chip which is being designed to perform only one particular application is called as application specific integrated circuits. Okay, so some applications may require specific chips, and that particular chip also manufactured using this particular silicon provider. So that is stands for ASIC. This stands for application specific integrated circuit. So next is your tools and platform providers. So in that tools and platform providers, they are going to have the manufacturers. So some of the in the tools and manufacturing providers are the manufacturers, suppliers of various kind of development tools. Like we are using the development tool as Keel, right? So Keel is one development tool which you are going to have. Okay, so like that, many people are giving the many tools for Toyota. So these tools and manufacturer platform providers, what they are going to provide, they are going to provide the various kind of development tools, and they are going to provide you the real-time operating system. Okay, so they are going to provide you the real-time operating system. My suggestion is, if you are interested in your embedded system, so go through the two different RTOS, that is QNX and VX1. So these are the most widely used of real-time operating system. Okay, so apart from this one, you are going to have RT Linux is there, RT Linux is there, upper, and you are going to have the embedded Linux is there. So these are some of the real-time operating system which they are going to use. So even you can have the job found in this particular field. Okay, so this particular tools and manufacturing platform providers, what they are going to supply is they are going to supply the various kinds of development tools, and even they are going to provide you the real-time embedded operating environment operating systems. Okay, for what purpose they are going to provide that one? For developing and debugging different control unit related applications. So that particular tool is going to tools and platform providers classified into two categories. What are those categories? One is your embedded software application development tool, other is your embedded hardware development tools. So when you talk about the embedded, so the embedded is a composition of hardware and software, right? So it is going to have the hardware and software. So it is going to have the embedded hardware development tools you are going to have. So you are going to have the software development tool. So both with respect to the embedded. So next is solution providers. So solution providers are supply original equipment manufacturer. So what stands for OEM? OEM stands for original equipment manufacturer. Okay, so OEM stands for original equipment manufacturer. And it gives a complete solution for automotive applications. So making use of chips, platforms, and different. So the most of the time, the solution providers are Bosch is there, even Delphi is there. Have you heard of Delphi? So these are some of the companies which work on microcontroller. Okay, so the one people who are going to provide you the solution provider is your Bosch Automotive is there, and your Delphi is there. This will work with the microcontroller, and you are going to have the Denso is there. So this is one of the, even Infosys Technologies will work with respect to the microcontroller. So if you want to have the career in your embedded market, so you can have these particular companies to be referred. Okay, where you can apply for the job and you can get the job from this of these companies. Okay. So anybody having any doubt here with respect to the key players of the embedded market? So that completes your domain specific embedded system. So next topic which you have to discuss is your hardware software co-design and program modeling. Okay, how the hardware and software are co-designed. So what are the necessary features which you have when you are building your hardware? If you take the traditional embedded system, okay. So if you take the traditional embedded system, what will happen? So first, in the traditional embedded system, what will happen? What was happening is, so you are going to have the hardware. So whenever you are going to have the embedded system, it is going to compose of hardware and software, right? So now to build the embedded system, you should have the hardware team as well as the software team. Even the hardware team should be there. Even the software team should be there. So now here, what will happen? So here the partitioning will be done. Whenever you are building the embedded system, the partitioning will be done with respect to hardware team and the software team at the initial stage only. So at the initial stage itself, they are going to do the partition. That is in your traditional embedded system. Okay, that is in your traditional embedded system. So here, what will happen when you are going to have the partitioning at the initial stage? What is the problem you are going to face? Can anyone tell? What is the problem you are going to face when we are partitioning the hardware designer and the software designer in the early stage itself? What are the problem you are going to face? Anybody have the answer for that one? Yes or no? That's it. So at that time, what will happen? So you're going to have the less interaction with each other. So we are going to have the less interaction with each other. So if you have the less interaction between the hardware team and the software team, what will happen? So whatever the problem is encountered by the hardware team, so if they want to build the software for that particular hardware, so it will be difficult for them to build that particular software, because whenever we are dealing with the embedded system, all the embedded hardware which you require is the drivers, right? So the drivers has to be written in software only. Okay, so drivers will be written in software itself. So since I don't know what type of hardware I'm going to build for that particular embedded system, so I cannot build the drivers software for that one. So now, once you have this particular problem, so you're going to encounter many issues which will be there. So now, in the traditional embedded system, what will happen? Once both are ready, once your hardware is ready for the embedded system and the software is ready for the system, then they are going to integrate it. So now when the integration is done, what is the problem you are going to get? If any error occurs, then again you have to rebuild. Either it may be a software I have to rebuild, or it may be a hardware, because I should know which are the port address I'm going to use, what should be the port address, which hardware I'm using. So what type of, because if you take the hardware only, there even the hardware differs with the port numbers. Okay, different manufacturers will be having their different port numbers. Then when you are interacting with the port numbers, you again have to change the port numbers also. That I have to keep in your mind. Okay, so that has to be done in your initial stage. So as I told you that it will be having the less interaction between the two teams. So the development happens either serially or parallel. So once the hardware and software are ready, the integration is performed, as I told you that. So, but what's the problem here? So if I go with that one, so I cannot compete in the market, because the time to market will be less. So because we are discussing what will be our new product, because daily the technological changes is happening. Every day the technology is changing. So I have to come with a new product. So when you are coming with a new product, what will happen? So the time to market has to be reduced. When you are going to have the time to market, so both hardware and software has to be co-developed together. So your hardware and software are co-developed together. Okay. So this is with respect to the different thing. So to have the time to market. So if you have to have to time to market. So instead of developing individually, independently, so I can stop the independent development. So stop independent working of hardware and software separately. Okay, so that's what is going to happen. So for that one, so we are going to have the fundamental issues when you are going to have. So the hardware and software co-design is a problem statement. Okay, and when we try to solve this particular statement in real life, we are going to face with the different issues in the design. What are the different issues you are going to have? So when you are talking about the fundamental issues is in your hardware preference, so selecting the model will become one of the issues. And another, selecting the architecture will become the one of the issues, and selecting the language will become one of the issues. And what are the partitioning requirements, what is there into hardware, into software, and that will become one of the issues. So these things has to be considered. Okay, so these are the some of the fundamental issues which we are going to face when we are doing the co-design with hardware and software. How to select the model, so whether the data path has to be there, so how the data path has to go through, so what are these different functional requirement of the project that I have to consider. Okay, so that we will discuss in the next class. Okay, so anybody having any doubt now, you can ask. Anybody having any doubt? All of you understood? Anybody having any doubt? Anybody having any doubt?
No.